Alright, I really hate saying this because The Bear is one of my favorite shows on TV. I think it is one of the best. The first 2 seasons of the show were like perfect television. It pains me to say this, but I was extremely disappointed in season 3 of The Bear. God, I really hate saying that, and I've honestly tried gaslighting myself into liking this season, but I'm sorry, I can't get around it. And by the way, there will be spoilers in this video. Alright, so this season of The Bear is clearly a part 1 because it ends with a to be continued screen. And this season pretty much serves as a setup for the next season, season 4, and that is the big problem of this season. This was a very, very annoying and not well executed plan at all because setup seasons can work, but most of the time it falls flat, and The Bear season 3 is a victim of that. And the reason is this season is all just a filler season, all just setting up for the 4th season. Seasons 1 and 2 of The Bear work so well because they both tell a story with a beginning and an end, with character development and growth storylines moving forward, and this season just completely abandoned that formula. Like I said, this season is very much a filler season. Most of the character storylines were not completed and didn't even move forward at all. It seems like a lot of these characters are at the same point they were at the beginning of this season or even at the end of season 2. They don't move forward at all. For example, Sydney still hasn't decided if she wants to stay at the Bear or take that new job. Richie and Carmi are still feuding with each other because of what they said to each other at the end of season 2, and at one point in the season they just completely stopped interacting with each other. We still don't really know what the review said for the restaurant, which seems like that was the whole point of this season, is this review will make or break this restaurant. None of these storylines get resolved or even answered. The characters, like I said, the characters this season just do not develop at all. They stayed the same from the beginning to the end. Most of them, including the main 3 characters, Richie, Carmi, and Sydney. Now, like I said, this is a part 1, but the season is just very incomplete and empty. There are so much filler, so much long conversations that don't even pay off really, and some episodes just seem completely pointless. And I don't tend to agree with people when they say this about seasons of shows, but I gotta say, I believe you could watch seasons 1 and 2, skip season 3, go on to season 4, and you wouldn't miss much, and you would know pretty much everything that's going on because really nothing happened in this season. Also, very, very little restaurant action and chaos, which is one of the best parts of this show, especially in seasons 1 and 2. There's like one episode very early on entirely dedicated to the chaos of them running the restaurant, but other than that, we don't get really any active restaurant chaos or any scenes really where they're working in the restaurant when there's people there. A lot of characters just feel totally absent this season, including the 3 main characters, Richie, Carmi, and Sydney. Some episodes they aren't even there and they feel like complete background characters if they are in some episodes. And I realize it is an ensemble, but it just didn't feel like one this season at all. Also, Carmi just was really annoying this season compared to the previous 2 seasons, and it annoyed me that nobody besides Richie really stood up to him, especially because how he was treating Sydney. It seemed pretty out of character for Sydney not to stand up to Carmi because he really didn't treat her that well this season, and she kind of just took it, and that kind of felt a little out of character for her. But with all that being said, there still were some pretty great moments and highlights of this season. It wasn't a completely terrible bad season at all. The first episode of this season is the most different episode of any TV show I've ever seen. It's also very different from any episode of The Bear. It's very calm and honestly very cinematic. It was a very impressive and beautiful just 30 minutes of TV. Io Debris' directing debut, episode 6, titled Napkins, was one of the best episodes of the show. This episode was a complete flashback of Tina's life before the beef and how she ended up there. The acting this episode was superb, and seeing Jon Bernthal back as Mikey, Carmi's older brother, was great, and that long scene between him and Tina was incredible, and that really sparked some of the magic that seasons 1 and 2 of The Bear had. This episode was a great example of about how simplicity and authenticity in an episode really make it work and make this show work. Episode 8, titled Ice Chips, was also a great episode that starred pretty much only Natalie's character and Jamie Lee Curtis' character as Natalie and Carmi's mother. Jamie Lee Curtis, this is one of the best roles I've ever seen her in, probably her best role, best acted role. She is incredible in this role and deserves every award for this role. And the characters this season are still completely enjoyable and carry the season on their back. The Fak brothers are hilarious as ever. I would say I do think this is the funniest season because the Fak brothers, they just steal every scene they're in. They're so funny. Every time the two of them are on screen together, you know you're gonna laugh and be in for a fun time. John Cena showing up as their brother was very random, but it worked very well because he matched their vibe, the way he talked, the way he acted with them, and he fit into the cast very well for that one episode. The finale definitely felt lackluster and not finale level, but it was great to see characters return, like Olivia Colman's character, who was just a great addition to this show. And the scene where Carmi and his former boss, where Carmi confronts him, was so great and one of the best scenes of the show, and we've been waiting for that since like the second episode of the whole show. But this season overall was just a disappointing filler and lackluster season. A lot of storylines just don't get wrapped up or move forward at all. Like I said, it seems like we're in the same place for these characters as they were in the first episode. Nothing really moved forward in this season. It was just served as a setup for season 4, and I don't really understand why. Now, I do not think this show is cooked or done or ran its course already. Season 4 could very easily be the best season of the show, and I feel like it will make this season a lot better because season 3 and 4 seem like they're gonna go together. But when it comes to just this standalone season, it was very disappointing and incomplete, and for that I gotta give it, unfortunately, a 6 out of 10. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of season 3 of The Bear. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Let me know all of that. Let me know your thoughts for the next season, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.